Hey guys, Eric Cronover from Nerdy Geek Talk, source of all your nerdy geeky needs, here with episode 2 of Mandalore Mandate. Here with me today is Luke. How you doing, Luke?
Hi. I'm good.
We're still missing John because, well, actually, we don't know why we're missing John this week. We hope John's alive, but if he's not, we're sad. But anyways,
He was my he was my hostage last week. I'm gonna be honest. Full disclosure.
did you end up executing your hostage last week or no? I
I
don't
don't
remember.
know where he's at.
Oh gosh, that's
Like
complicated.
there is random like rustling and stuff, but
Oh,
that's
maybe
normal.
he went off to become a peaceful colony or something on some
Or
backwater world.
or like no like we were on this backwater place. Maybe he's going out to be this really powerful Jedi, and his parents were nobody.
Oh, I don't
Still,
know, but
I don't know.
either way, let's get on. We have lots and lots to talk about today, so let's get on with it. First off, on this day a long, long time ago, the day of this recording is April 10th. April 10th.
April tape.
April 10th. No, it's April 10th of 2018. But 26 years ago, on April 10th of 1992, do you know who was born?
Is it a flower?
Y- kind of, yeah.
Yes.
Daisy. Daisy Ridley was born. That is right. Today is Ray's birthday. Happy birthday, Ray!
Is she? Did it? How old they make Ray?
It's a good question. Is that ever definitively answered, or is it just like a time range? I think it's early 20s. How
Yeah.
old is Ray?
I don't
And I
know.
think Kylo Ren is like almost 30.
Wait,
Oh, she's 19. She's 19 in Force
Okay,
Awakens.
yeah. And I'm pretty sure Kylo Ren's like 28, 29.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's like, yeah, I 28 is what comes to head. Oh no,
That's why I was
it says 29 years old at the time of the Force Awakens.
that's why I was like always uncomfortable with people like, yeah, they should get together. I'm like, I don't know. Like maybe they just have different worldviews.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what's going to go on with the two of them. But either way, happy birthday, Daisy
Thank you.
Ridley, who is an awesome, awesome actress. I think we can all agree on that. That she is pretty neat.
She's so British.
This is true. You know what isn't so British though?
Americans?
Han Solo. And you know what has to do with Han Solo?
A
A lot,
solo fan.
a lot of stuff. Like
A
a
lot.
lot of stuff. Um,
Look how
mainly,
skinny Chewie looks in this toy.
I have no idea which toy you're talking about. But you
I
know what
know.
we'll talk about first?
Okay, what?
The freaking trailer. Um, that's right. We got the new. Actually, this is technically the first Han Solo trailer. What we got before was like a sneak peek slash it was a teaser trailer. This is the first like full on actual trailer, and you know what? It's probably the only trailer that we're going to get. So technically, it's probably the
Yep.
first and the last. Um, and while I can't, I'm gonna say that it's like, wait, what?
What?
I just got okay. Hold on, I got never mind. All right, may have a topic for Awesome Asylum if what I'm seeing is true. Did you
Oh.
see a Venom trailer go up?
No, but I'll look right now.
Apparently, I'm seeing something that says there's the new Venom trailer, but that's not this show. But now I'm really excited to go watch that. But the Han Solo trailer. I'm so sorry I got sidetracked. It is out, and what did you think of it? I thought it was freaking amazing. What about you?
My my first thought was just like I'm like, wow, I have no idea what the music's gonna be like for this movie.
I'm really liking it so far. I don't know about you, but yeah, that's what certainly grabbed my interest right off the bat was the music, and I like it. Again,
Yeah,
it's pretty different, which is good, but it catches my attention in all the right ways. Um, do you want to talk about it just like kind of as it goes on, like have it playing?
like piece by piece. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's fine.
so it opens up, and it's on Corellia, I believe, is where it opens up, and you see a Star Destroyer being worked on, which is interesting because I believe at some point in the original trilogy, Han calls them like big Corellian ships, which that would make sense if he's been seeing them be assembled on his homeworld. So
Is that where he's from?
I believe so.
It
Um,
is now.
and then there's him, walking by a fire and then looking through a window and stuff. And I believe he's being questioned by the girl whose name I cannot. What's her? Do you know her name? It has like two
I do
syllables.
not. I'm just in my mind she's gonna die. So
Kira? I think it's Kira.
all right, Shakira's gonna die. It's just in my mind.
No. You know what she is? She's the villain. She's the main villain. The super cool one is not the main villain. This is a test movie for that villain to be a overarching villain, apparently. But we'll get to that in a bit. That's what it's reported to be. Like I don't think that that's like a heavy spoiler. I think that that's something that has actually been like going around as maybe some promo stuff. Like I've been seeing everyone talking about that, so it's not something that I'm aware of as a big spoiler. Then we get the shot of Han on the beach for a bit longer than we got it before. Him like almost unclipping his gun, and we get a look at the villain, the leader of the what are they called?
Oh, I screenshotted this.
Cloud Gang, Cloud
Pirates, I think.
Cloud Riot?
Cloud Riders.
Yeah, Cloud Riders, and they're what are their vehicles called?
Clouds.
No, it's like Cloud Bikes or something. I forget.
I really want to see what that looks like now.
They're basically like speeders that have no limits on them, so they're extremely dangerous. But if you know how to use them, they're really freaking fast. Apparently.
That's cool.
But I gotta say, the leader of the Cloud Riders, if you did not know, is a lady. Actually,
Oh my God!
This is another female Star Wars villain. Which, yeah, if you're saying this is the first one, there is Captain Phasma, and if you're saying that, well, this is going to be the main one, it's looking like it's not, although she is possibly signed on to do more movies, but we'll talk about that at the end, because that's really confusing me, and I believe Luke. Are you confused by those reports as well?
I'm going to be... I really just want her to take off the helmet, or because it just makes me think of Force Awakens when he's like, it's your father, Han Solo. It's like she just does the same thing. It'd be great. That's Han Solo.
But it's them on the beach, all fancy. Then we get Han walking to the bar. Well, some place,
Yeah, I'm not sure what you want to call that.
Yeah, no, I don't know what to call it. But you have Lando gambling with a bunch of aliens around him, including a lobster alien named Scissor Punch.
No way.
That is his name.
That's going to be my stripper name.
Well, it's Thermidor. It's literally one of my 2 lobster bots I post every day. It is Thermidor just making his Star Wars debut. So literally, if nothing else, this trailer gives us Thermidor in Star Wars, and therefore it is the greatest movie trailer of all time. But you get to see Han going all in, presumably winning the Falcon. Then, the next shot, very interesting, is a shot we've seen in previous trailers, but with something new. Are you aware of this? It's Han looking up at the Falcon, and it's all like cloudy and stuff. But Chewie's here now. Chewie wasn't there last time. They just added him in.
He was... They were in the bar together, right, with Lando, right?
I don't know if we see him, but I would assume so, because we know he meets Chewie before he meets Lando, and Chewie goes everywhere with Han.
Yeah, because they do the part where he's like, "Oh, is all the stories true?" He's like, "Everything you hear about me is true," and Chewie laughs.
Yeah. But yeah, just interesting that they added him. I don't know. Was that scene originally filmed without Chewie intentionally, and then they're like, "Actually, you know what? We should have Chewie here." Or I'm just curious what the thought behind that was, but I don't know. After that, we get the Lucasfilm logo, which, yay! Then we get Han with the girl again. And then they're all walking around. Then they're with, they're talking to, what's his name? He's the most famous actor.
Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, Woody Harrelson's character. I don't know why I blanked on his name. And then you get to see the gangster guy, who was supposed to be played by someone else. The actor's name is slipping my mind.
I think that dude looks awesome, though.
But this guy was in it. He was supposed to be played by someone else, but after the director switch and everything, the amounts of the major reshoots, his schedule wasn't lining up because he had other films to be in, and so they had to recast him. So we got this guy, which is that's fine as long as he's good in the final film. That's all that matters. But he has all the scarring on his face. I'm pretty sure he's just a human. It's possible he's an alien, but he looks like just a human with a ton of scars on his face.
Snoke?
This is secretly Snoke, a Star Wars story. But yeah, you get a shot of him. Then you get Han doing speeder flying stuff. That's cool. They're flying boxes everywhere. Some previous shots we've seen before of the group, and then we have a shot of the group around the fire, in which we get to see Woody Harrelson toss Han his iconic blaster. Because yes, we get an origin story just for Han's blaster. I see people complaining about this, and then some people obsessing over it, and I'm like, it's really not a big deal either way. It's like just a small little thing, but...
Does he ever use the scope on the pistol? Ever?
I don't think so.
He always holds it at his hip and just shoots someone.
Yeah, pretty much. Who needs a scope when you're Han Solo?
It's just like a black cylinder on there. It doesn't even do anything.
It doesn't even have like glass. Like you can't see through it, but yeah. But then you get Han and Chewie. They're standing together. Chewie's nodding his head at Han. Then they're walking through the snowy area under some giant tusks. I doubt we'll find out what the beast of those tusks is, but are there mammoths in Star Wars? Apparently
There's anything you need to be.
But I bet we'll find out in a visual dictionary after the movie's release, because that is where they release basically detailed breakdowns of every single object in the movie and costume and stuff. So we get that. Then you get the crew walking around. Then you get Lando in the fur coat, which is awesome. Han walking around the table, and then
I'm gonna marry him one day.
And then you get Lando again. Donald Glover's Lando, who's looking awesome. And Han's like, "Oh, I want to ask you about a story I heard about you, is if it's true." And I was just like, "Dude, everything you heard about me is true." I'm just like, "Yes, that is great." Then you get Chewie, roaring and stuff. Then you get L3. Oh man, this droid already has me won over. L3, and Lando's like, "Stop grabbing the mean man's face," or whatever. L3 is the obligatory droid of this movie, because you always just have to have a droid and a Chewbacca, pretty much.
I really like that stuff, but it's kind of starting to get old for me now.
What?
Like, just like, oh, you got this snappy droid. You never know what he's gonna say. Oh, like, okay, yeah, it's starting to get old now.
I mean, what other droid do you have that's like that other than the K2SO?
Mr. Bones.
Well, okay, Mr. Bones isn't in any movie. I'm surprised you know who Mr. Bones is.
I would rather have Mr. Bones, like, above anyone else. Who's the dude?
That would be an interesting movie if Mr. Bones
I just want him, like, cutting people in half. Like, that would be great.
But I really like L3. Okay, so are you aware of the fact that L3, I'm pretty sure L3 is a female droid, if that even... Does it apply to droids, really? Anyways,
diversity!
But L3 is obviously sassy and stuff, but apparently L3, the interesting thing I read, is that she takes parts from droids and incorporates them into herself. She essentially she like Frankenstein's monsters herself out of victims. I don't think I think it's more like cannibalism, kind of.
That's like me cutting your hand off and like, yep, this is mine now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, assuming you kill me first. So I think it's like cannibalism, just without eating. It's more... I don't know. It's complicated. But there you go. There's a little detail about L3, who I personally am a fan of so far. We get Han admiring the Falcon a bit more because it's an awesome Falcon. Also, I find Woody Harrelson's advice for Han pretty awesome life advice, where he's just like, expect everyone to betray you and you'll never be disappointed. I think he says that later in the trailer, but I just want to point that out, that he's right. He is right.
Is there something you want to talk about, Eric?
No. But
all right,
but like I think that's interesting that he's responsible for Han's attitude later, and which also that's the main reason I buy what I've heard about how Kira, or whatever her name is, being the villain later in the movie, because she's the one that apparently she grows up with Han and Corellia, if you didn't know that, and then they're like apart for a while, and then they see each other at the party and they're both like, "Wow, you've come a long way," and then apparently she turns out to be the villain later, which, that would make sense because that would play into the whole, expect everyone to betray you, never be disappointed. But another thing to note, L3, I feel like L3 is the one person that has to die in this movie.
I would think at least L3 and Woody Harrelson are gonna die.
Oh, Woody Harrelson for sure. But L3 I'm thinking is gonna die because she's like Lando's BFF, and we all know that that's gotta be Lobot.
I would love if they like took part of L3 and put it in Lobot.
That would be, yes.
How sad would that be?
I highly doubt it. But wouldn't that be funny? Because that'd be L3's own trick of using parts from other droids, but used on her. Although if she's already dead, I mean, this is
because I was like looking at the shape of the head, and I'm like, you could definitely make that work.
That's interesting. I highly, highly doubt they're gonna go that route, but that would be very interesting and weird. The more piloting.
You're weird.
There's the train, which there's these range troopers on the train, which is awesome. I really like this design, and that's a much better name than another type of trooper in this movie that we'll get to. But the range troopers are interesting, and it appears they all have magnetized boots because this train is going to be going upside down and stuff. Like, it turns upside down.
Why?
Why
is that necessary on a train?
Because it's a dangerous mining track. I don't know. But either way, they're all attached, so it should make up for a cool action set if that's true, but I don't know. And we get to see, is that Woody Harrelson's character fighting with them on top of the train? I think it is.
I don't know.
He's goggles on. Yeah,
he's upside down trains.
I'm pretty sure it's him though. But the range troopers, I gotta say, I really like the designs. The Millennium Falcon's flying around, fighting. Then we get to see a walker, which we actually checked some of the other stuff. We checked some of the toy listings earlier because a ton of toy listings went up because of this trailer release, and we got to find out what the name of this particular walker is because it's a variant of the ATST. This one is
I hope it's good in mud.
This one is called the ATDT walker. I'm curious what the D stands for, but either way. Also, the train I believe is called the Conveyex train. I could be wrong on that, but there's that. Then you get Woody Harrelson, who I think is given the line then. Oh, then we have an interesting shot that everyone seems to be super confused about, but I don't think it's very confusing. Chewbacca with the other Wookiee.
That's his wife.
I was going to say, I'm like 95% certain that is his wife.
Christmas Story. Gonna have to watch it again.
I doubt they're gonna bring it. They're gonna bring up the Christmas Story. I'm pretty sure Chewbacca's wife is already canon. Let me check.
He's just gonna be like, "Yo, we'll be back by Life Day in about 25 years."
Is Chewbacca's wife canon? Because I really thought that she was canon, Mala, but I don't know.
Oh yeah, how many years is this before? Episode 4. Like, I forget, 5.
Yeah, Mala is already canon. I just checked because everyone's saying, like, what? This would be weird. They want to bring back a memory of the Christmas special, or whatever. No, she's already canon from the Aftermath, Empire's End, apparently. But yeah, so she already is canon. So yeah. Han Solo literally in the book says, "Hey, you're the married one. Find me a human girl with Mala's brains and silky hair, and maybe I'll consider it." That's kind of funny. But yeah, so that's definitely Mala. If not, that's gotta be like a family member or something. But it's Mala, and Mala's already canon, which apparently everyone forgot because I remember seeing that before. And you know what? Part of me wonders, is Mala being in this movie? It's not that they need it to happen, but it's just easier if they do it this way. To have Mala now to give Chewbacca a happy ending at the end of 9. Do you think that or no? Like, do you think that it's possible we could see Mala?
Dying. He's dying.
No, Chewbacca is not.
He's gonna like go light speed with the Millennium Falcon into a ship.
No. Okay, Chewbacca cannot. Chewbacca's the one that will not die. Leia will be dead by the end of 9, probably.
Him, Leia, R2-D2, and like C-3PO all be on the ship. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's kill my son. And just boom, suicide crash.
But I don't know. Part of me wonders if they're doing this.
Did you know that Who's the purple-haired lady in Last Jedi? What's her name?
Holdo.
Did you know she's force
Force
sensitive?
sensitive. Yeah, I don't really care. It's like in the way that Leia was, so it's like it doesn't really matter that much.
It
Well,
exists.
like in the way that Leia was before Last Jedi. I'm assuming. Like I don't think she can actually do it. My feeling is that I feel like she's one of the Force sensitives that was never trained on anything, so she can just like feel stuff. She can't do anything. Like she can't even do what
Yeah,
Leia could do in the
like
Last Jedi.
Han.
Is my guess.
Han is force sensitive, obviously.
What if this movie really revealed that? But yeah, I don't know.
I want to go over the toys now because I know you love toys.
Well, we still have a little bit of trailer left, I think, right? Let's see. They're zooming through space, and the other shot we've already seen. TIE fighter. Oh, then we get the funny moment. We get to find out the timeline of this movie, where Han says something like, how do you know how to pilot?" And he's like, 190 years old. And he's like, "You look great." Um, which I thought
Uh,
was actually a really great joke. I thought that was hilarious. Um, But yeah, so we get to know the timeline, which by the end of The Last Jedi, I believe he's 234 years old, if you were
yeah.
curious. So,
Han was like his third dog.
oh, that he watched get murdered by his dog's son. That's sad. Um, then we
Oh, the
also get
litter's bad.
I forgot the line. Oh, no. Then we get the cool knife weapon, which John, when we talked about this in our group chat, really thought was a Jedi. That's a gangster dude, and he just has a like almost lightsaber-esque knife type
He's just
thing.
shanking people. He's a
Yeah,
gangster.
he's going stabby stab with a light knife is what we'll call it.
That
And I gotta say
that's
that
how
the weapon looks cool.
that's how Woody Harrelson's dying. That's just gonna get pulled out of nowhere and like boom,
Shank,
right
shank,
to the
shank.
back. Yeah,
Uh,
pretty much.
then we get Chewbacca falling off the side of the train, Han catching him, and oh my God, they're going towards a cliff. Is Chewbacca gonna die?
Yes,
I knew it.
his regenerative abilities.
It turns out that it's actually just a clone in the rest of the movies. That Han really just got really lonely after his only real friend died, so he cloned him. Wouldn't that be a shocker?
No, maybe like Chewie dies and Mala is actually the companion this whole time.
Whoa. Although I do find it interesting, I forget when in the trailer, but he also said the line like, I have a really good feeling about this." I thought that was funny. Just a little twist on the.
Haha.
It's like, hey, you know that line's always that's the opposite of it. Ha,
Ha
ha.
ha. We've watched the movies before.
But yeah, so nothing super important, but there is that. Um. So the next bit of news, before we get into the toys and stuff, we have that the Solo Star
No.
Wars story is going to debut at Cannes Film Festival. Um, basically, this if you don't know what that means, that's okay. We don't really know
Okay.
that much either. But basically, it means they're proud of the movie. Like they think it's a good movie, and that's why they would debut it there. Like that's the only reason that it would make sense. Which, in all honesty, that makes sense to me because the one thing that seemed to never change throughout the entire process of this movie is the script. And they had one of the best Star Wars writers write the script. So I feel
Who
like
wrote
at
the
the core
script?
of this, same person that is I wrote, was it Empire Strikes Back? I don't remember. He wrote original trilogy Han. I'm almost
Oh,
certain.
cool.
So let's see who wrote Solo script. I believe that it was the writer of like.
Da, da, da.
I'm not 100% sure though. Development. Lawrence Kasdan.
Good for them.
But then John Kasdan apparently finished it. But either way, those are certainly good writers, I believe. So we have that going for it. And like I said, they wouldn't do this if they weren't confident in the movie. So basically, the main takeaway from that is Disney thinks it's a good movie, which I would hope so. But everyone's been, everyone's super up in the air on whether or not this is going to be a good movie. It's earning my faith, but hey, you know what? We'll see. We'll see soon enough. In like a month, a little over a
Yeah.
month, but we'll get there. Then we have a bit of news on how do you say it? Enfys Nest, I believe, who is a female, and she's not in a big role, but it is important, and that she's the cool one in the trailers. If you're like, who is in that cool villain suit? That is her, and she's the leader of the Cloud Riders, as we said. But apparently, which I was not really aware of this, that this is actually a legitimate thing. There's going to be possible solo sequels that they had. All the actors apparently already lined up for extended contract options.
They better call the second one Duo.
I don't know. Like, how do you feel about that? And that Feast Nest or whatever is apparently the one that they want to set up to be a bigger villain later in the Han Solo trilogy, I guess, if it's a trilogy. I don't know, but at least in a sequel or something. How do you feel about? Okay, so in particular, it's hard to say without seeing the movie, but would you want more of this character?
Yeah. I mean,
She appears cool. We know virtually nothing though, so it's hard to say.
yeah. But
Um, do
I
you
don't know.
want?
Like,
Do you
that
want
character
a?
specific.
Do you want a solo follow-up movie though?
I would be willing to accept it just because, like, what if you had Boba Fett in the next one?
I totally agree. And also, what I've seen so far, thus far, has turned me completely from being completely opposed to the idea of this movie to now thinking like, oh, I think I'm really gonna like this movie. Like that, like it's been a slow process, but that's slowly how it's turned out for me. Is that like by the time that this movie comes out, I'm pretty darn excited. So I hope it doesn't disappoint me. But like it went from me saying like that is the dumbest idea they could do for a movie to now being like
Come on,
I'm pretty excited to see this movie.
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric. Just assume everyone's gonna betray you.
You're right. I'm doing it wrong. Um, but yeah, so I am up for it. Although I think it'd be easier to make that call once we see the movie. But I don't know. I'm curious how well they want it to do in order to make a sequel. That's interesting. I also find it interesting because they said that like, hey, these Star Wars stories movies, they are completely standalone stuff. Don't expect sequels and stuff like that. But literally the second one that they ever make is apparently already lined up for sequels. So who knows? Did you listen to the interview with Alden Ehrenreich about his roles
It got
on Solo?
taken down when I tried to find it.
Oh, okay. I watched it, and like the main things is that he says that the whole thing about George Lucas directing a scene, which from the reports I read, it sounded like this, but everyone wanted the headline of George Lucas directs a scene in Han Solo. He's like, no, he just like gave a little moment, like it wasn't like an entire scene or anything. He's like, he just had one little thing, and we're like, okay, yeah, like it was not a big deal at all, like a tiny, tiny moment. But then he also said he commented on the extra acting lessons that were like forced upon him. Do you remember hearing about that? He said what those were for. Have you heard about that?
What?
That
What?
Do you know? Do you know what they're talking about?
I do not.
So apparently, it was rumored going around that Disney literally like paid for him to get extra acting license because they were not happy with his role. Now that was
Hmm.
the rumor going around because they wanted that rumor going around, to be honest. But the extra acting lessons were a real thing, and he commented on them that they were for action pieces, like for physical stuff, for like how to take hits better, how to like, because he's like, you have to
Okay.
be almost like an athlete to do this stuff in an action movie. And I'm like, yeah, that's very true. Like you go from being an actor to I have to do all this crap that's like super physical. So it was mainly for physical stuff that he was saying
I
that,
gotta,
which
I gotta
I
catch this guy falling out of space train.
which I was glad to know, and I thought that was very interesting. That I don't think that he would outright lie about that. So I think it's very interesting that he's saying that that's what the lessons were for. Meanwhile, everyone just wanted to use that news story to be like, hey, we got this whole story about how the Han Solo movie is going to be bad, even though that's what every single news story about the Han Solo movie is. But hey, uh,
Yeah.
then we have next a link, which if you aren't aware, we have the show notes in a link in the description below, so you can look at all the things we're talking about. Next link has multiple Star Wars. Solo Star Wars story posters and promotional art, which I gotta say,
He has a gun.
the first one at the top is the best one, at least in my opinion. Like with the Cloud Rider gang and then especially in Feast Nest. I don't know how to say that name. It bothers me. The top one is definitely my favorite, and then you get a picture of just the leader, which is really nice. Several of them, which all look really cool. You get Chewbacca, which is neat. Then you get a picture. I forget what kind of trooper this is. It has something to do with like a patrol trooper, I want to say, or something. The helmet looks extremely CG to me.
Oh.
Do you know? I could be wrong on this, but just the way it looks to me, like the body, I can see like how it's there, but like it almost looks like the helmet is just entirely computer generated. Do you see what I'm talking about or no?
I feel like that'd be a major waste of money, but I could totally see them doing that.
No, I don't. I don't think they did. It's just the way the lighting or something comes off. Like it seems way too. I don't know, clean, like not realistic. I don't know. Then the next poster has range troopers at the bottom, the Falcon, and then Lando, Han, and I think that's Kira. Then you get the Falcon with Han and Chewie. More pictures of the Falcon, which is all very pretty sky. Han and Chewie. Han. Then ooh, I like that poster. There's a poster with all the characters in the shape of and like with the and the cutout is the shape of the Falcon. I really like that one. There's one with that says just made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs with Han Solo with like a pink and yellow background, which is very neat.
I guess that's in the movie. Like I guess that's happening in the movie.
I guess so. I'm very curious to see how that goes. We get a Lando notebook, which is nice. Another thing of the Cloud Rider gang, which I said. There's Solo standing in front of the aliens all gambling and stuff, which is nice. There's a bunch of droids, which I like these droids. They're very interesting. And then another thing for the poster, which is very interesting. Also, have you seen the actual official poster? Which, by the way, if you weren't aware, for all you who are complaining, Han Solo has his gun out in the poster.
I want to see him shoot someone.
Everyone else is in the background, but then it's Han Solo with his blaster pulled, which I think looks really nice. It's kind of reddish, and it's just very it's very pleasant overall, I gotta say. But yeah, also now we could talk about all damn toys. So I don't know if there's a ton of stuff you want to talk about for the toys or not, but like the thing that catches my interest right off the bat is the Mud Trooper, which is at the very top of the toys. Which, if you aren't aware, just check out the article on StarWarsNewsNet.com. Is where I go for most of my Star Wars news. The Mud Trooper, who is a really cool design, but like it's called a Mud Trooper. Like, hey,
I want to know what this is used for. I really do.
Mud? No, it's like, hey, what do you do? I'm a mud trooper. So like you're a trooper? Yeah, but in mud. It's like you do normal like trooper stuff. Yeah, but like only in the mud. Like not on ground, not on solid ground. It's too hard, and not in the water.
I don't know how to walk.
I don't know. I don't know how to swim either, but I can tread mud like no other. Like
I'm in a
no
constant
other.
state of swimming and walking.
Like. Don't get me wrong, I love new trooper designs, and if it takes us getting ridiculous names because they can't find a reason for them to have troopers, then so be it, because I need new troopers all the time. It looks super cool, and I need new trooper designs. Like, that is a major, major part to every movie for me. Like, way more than it should be, in terms of, like, how I judge the movie and, like, what I like and don't like. It's like, are the troopers cool? The new troopers, because every movie's got to have new cool troopers. And I gotta say, I love the Mud Trooper, but it's called a freaking Mud Trooper. They really can, like Swamp Trooper would have been better. Don't you agree?
Like I said, I just want one to like slowly rise out of the mud and just snap someone's neck and just
then
go
fall
back down.
Yeah, and they even have like a cape. It almost looks like a Jedi cloak. Which it definitely isn't, but it's just interesting.
Like, how significant, like, what's the point of wearing a cape when you're in mud?
I don't know.
That is only...
Maybe it's a brown cape, though, so maybe they blend in with the mud.
Maybe. Just bear with me.
So, you know, this is definitely going to happen.
Suitable for mud.
We already had revealed a while ago that there is a scene where Han and Chewie will get all muddy escaping from Imperial somewhere. So I guess that these Mud Troopers are literally, their function is to chase Han and Chewie in the mud. So, can't wait for that. I still cannot believe they are called Mud Troopers, but hey, they look pretty darn cool. Is there any other toys that you can think of that you thought that were interesting or caught your attention? There's nothing
Look how
else
freaking skinny Chewbacca looks.
Chewbacca is pretty skinny. Also, if you weren't aware, the Black Series Chewbacca will be a Target exclusive, I believe, for those of you
Oh,
listening. If you collect Black
we're getting
Series,
that mud trooper. We're getting
uh,
that mud trooper.
the Mud Trooper.
And there is something called a Kessel Guard too. So
Yeah, who has the Kessel Hound? That the doggy thing with them, which apparently will have some sort of impact during the movie. I don't know what they'll do with the Kessel Hound, but hey, it's there. Oh no,
maybe the
Corellian.
mud
Oh wait,
troopers
no,
track
I
people
lied.
down.
I'm thinking of the Corellian Hound, not the Kessel Hound. I just totally made that up. The Corellian Hound. So that'll probably play some part in on early on in the movie.
Oh, and
Um,
there's fight. I guess there's gonna be a scene where like droids fight each other because there's on the Funko Pops there's fighting droids and they look like R2D2s kind of and like gonk droids, but they're modified to fight each other.
Oh, I didn't know they were fighting each other, but I think those are probably the droids I was looking at in some of the art that was revealed, which a lot of that art is really cool. So if you check out any of the articles from here, go check out the art because, like, seriously, that was really cool. Especially the Cloud Rider leader villain posters. Like, those are my favorite. I might
Whoa!
set that as my
What is
background
this
now.
thing? What is
Well,
this trooper?
I don't know what you're talking about. So,
Oh, an Imperial Patrol trooper. It just looks really cool.
that's the one
It
I
just
was
looks
talking
great.
about. That in the one
Yeah.
poster, it like the helmet almost looks like it's fake. I think it looks like a really cool helmet design. It's just it almost looks fake and stuff. So I was like, that's
Well,
kind
this
of
this is
interesting.
just a toy, so I can't. What's this magic looking dude?
Uh,
A Moloch.
I don't know what that is, but yeah.
I'm just scrolling through the pictures. Oh, let's get that card game and just play the hell out of that.
Is it like the Sabak game or whatever?
Oh my! If we can play that, I will play that.
I bet we'll get some version of Sabak, or there's some alternate version of Sabak that that Han wins the game. Like they play what is considered Sabak, but it's considered an alternate form, I believe, whenever he wins the Falcon from him. So I don't know.
He just shoots him.
But moving on from solo news, we have a bit of other news too. First is basically clickbait that's been going around everywhere. And if you were not aware of this, it's Simon Pegg saying that he's confirmed that JJ had a much different plan for Rey's parentage. And he said, the quote is, I know what JJ kind of intended, or at least was being chucked around. I think that's kind of been undone slightly by the last one. There was some talk of a relevant lineage for her, and that's the end of the quote. So basically, the internet's going crazy saying, JJ intended for Rey's parents not to be nobody. Yeah, if you couldn't tell that from The Force Awakens, I don't know what you were watching, because they very much hinted at it. That doesn't mean it was true, but they wanted you to think that. Either way, whether or not they were going to make it true, they definitely wanted to make you think that. Now, is that going to have any impact on 9? Maybe, probably not. How do you feel about that? Do you think that JJ will go back and basically be like, actually, nah, like again? So basically every movie it'll be like, no, just kidding. No, just kidding about just kidding. Like, do you think so? Or do you think they're just going to roll with it? I think he's going to roll with it.
Screw it. Let's just use time traveling wolves.
No. I mean, no, don't get me wrong. Rebels is awesome, and it worked on Rebels, but do not use time travel in the movies.
Just
Do
time
not.
traveling wolves. Problem solved. Save Han Solo. Save everyone.
But I find it very interesting that everyone's going nuts about this because I thought it was obvious. Like, I thought it was totally obvious in that it was just Ryan Johnson's decision not to go that direction, which honestly I agree with. I think that's a smarter move. I think it's a better story to tell because everyone sees Rey as Rey now. If Rey was the granddaughter of Kenobi, she would just be the granddaughter of Kenobi. Like, do you know what I mean? Like when I say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
like,
how it's just they'd be
yeah.
seen forever.
Exactly. Like Kylo Ren. He's an interesting Star Wars character, but like, he's the son of Han Solo and Leia. If you're just like, that's literally the first thing you say when describing him, or grandson of Darth Vader. Either way, like he is defined by his lineage essentially, whereas Rey is not. And so this has basically just been going around because clickbait, people like Rey and her parents and stuff about that. So
Oh, raw, untamed power.
So,
I
yeah,
think we need to have a debate one day if like Rey is a Mary Sue or not. I think that'd be really fun.
I think it'd be interesting because there's a lot to go into for that. But yeah,
Like you and John arguing is always hilarious and scary.
yeah. Although in all honesty, we are almost on the same page for that one, with the exception of for the Last Jedi. For the Force Awakens, we're not. But that's because John is okay. If you don't understand the fact that Kylo Ren is wounded, and you can't just magically heal yourself instantly, which is his argument. He's like, he can use the Force. Why can't he just heal himself instantly? But do you think that an untrained? Anyways, yeah, we'll definitely talk. That'll be a discussion topic sometime. But next bit of news is that it's actually about Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy, which is really, really awesome. It's nothing major at all, so don't get too excited. But Ryan Johnson said he is focused to tell new, vital new stories in his upcoming Star Wars trilogy. And he also said in the interview that they're brainstorming new ideas for the new trilogy that Johnson has, come to whatchamacallit, that is he's writing and directing for Lucasfilm, and that he is asking himself questions about what he's going to be doing, but also he says that he wants to pay, like, he wants to honor the past Star Wars movies, which I don't know what that means. I think that's just kind of filler, as in, like, yeah, it's Star Wars. Um, but I don't know. But he says, okay, here's a quote. It's fun because it's kind of thinking, okay, outside of the Skywalker story and outside of the recognizable iconography, what is this? What is Star Wars? Or what do we need to retain from that to pull forward for it to still be Star Wars, and what can we leave behind? Which I think is very interesting. I'm very, very curious about what he's going to be doing with this. Do we know when the first one's coming out?
No,
I didn't
we
think
just know
so.
they exist.
Yeah. I say, do we know what's coming out after 9? If something's coming out directly after 9? As of right
Obviously,
now.
Solo follow up somehow.
If that gets made, though,
Wait,
because they're...
so there's this one, and is after Solo movie. Is there another standalone then Episode 9 or Episode 9 then
Everyone's
another?
going crazy saying it's definitely Kenobi, but Kenobi is not announced. If that's a thing, which I gotta say, I don't want Kenobi, although I didn't want Solo, so if they manage to turn me around on that, maybe, but I still think that Kenobi is less likely to be good than Solo is, which I know is probably a very unpopular opinion, but either way, yeah, the schedule for Star Wars is very confusing right now. I'm wondering if after Solo things will clear up a bit, because it's very unclear after 9, like, what is exactly happening when. Like, Marvel has all their movies planned out till 2020, at least, I think even a little past that, and everything else Disney, except Star Wars, has had updates on their schedule. Star Wars does not, officially. Like,
I'm traveling wolves.
there's announcements on what projects are coming, but no
Okay,
one knows when. So
I didn't think about this till now, but I'm really pissed off now.
what?
Uh, like this is not really relevant, but we still don't know who that voice is from the Sith holocron in Rebels.
I thought they talked about that actually in a Rebels Recon. I could be wrong, but
I.
now I need to dig into that. We'll figure it
Oh
out
my
some other
god, that's
time.
gonna piss me off.
I don't know. I can't remember. But last bit of news is Tony Gilroy has been speaking out about the Rogue One reshoots, and I gotta say he kind of sounds like a jerk. So he says, "I've never been
Uh,
interested in Star Wars ever, so I had no reverence for it whatsoever.
Aw.
I was unafraid about that," said Gilroy, "and they were in such a swamp. They were in so much terrible, terrible trouble that all you could do was improve their position." And then also, wait. Let's see. Okay, yeah. And he also said, if you look at Rogue, all the difficulty with Rogue, all the confusion of it, and all the mess, and in the end, when you get there, it's actually very, very simple to solve, Gilroy said at the film, because if you sort of go, this is a movie where, folks, just look, everyone is going to die, so it's a movie about sacrifice. Um, Yeah, he also said it doesn't appeal to me. He said of making another Star Wars film, but I don't think Rogue really is a Star Wars movie in many ways. To me, it's a Battle of Britain movie. Yeah, I don't like this guy. Just putting that out there. You don't have to be a jerk about a movie that's already well, done and released and everything. And in all honesty, it wasn't that bad. Like Rogue One's not my favorite, but it was by no means a failure. It did just fine, and the one thing I will definitely say about Rogue One is that Gareth Edwards was a big, big Star Wars fan. So to say that, like, oh, I came in and it totally sucked what they were doing, but I don't like Star Wars, so I don't really, I don't care about Star Wars, so I don't know, if it was real
okay.
or not.
It's okay. He's gone now. It's okay.
So it's like, really?
He's gone now. It's safe.
You jerk. I don't like this Gilroy guy. Just saying. And also just to
why
talk
you
about
gotta
the movie
do
after.
me like this?
Why has he got to talk about the movie after that? Like that seems pretty unprofessional to me. But whatever. So there's all that. But then also just a slight update to a discussion topic that we had on the lightsaber. So apparently, there is actually a lightsaber crystal that is like literally more powerful than the rest. Were you aware of this?
Is this the Ghostfire one?
No,
Or
this is canon. The dark saber.
Oh yeah. I just watched a video about that today.
Stupendous Wave put it up a day or two ago, I think. And I realized this once he pointed it out. I just never thought about it before. But that the dark saber, it literally something with the crystal, can sense emotion, and it uses that power to actually. So like if you get really emotional or use the dark side, that makes the lightsaber more powerful. The dark saber more powerful. So while we were just saying like what color would be for fun, and like how we said the lightsaber crystal colors do have meaning, but in terms of like actual power, now we don't know if this is just this one crystal or dark sabers in general, because the thing is there's only one dark saber crystal we know about.
Do we know anything about Vizsla beyond the fact that he made that?
No, pre-Vizsla did not make that.
I thought he made the dark saber. Like
the Vizsla Clan Vizsla made the dark saber like thousands and thousands of years ago.
I couldn't remember the guys first. I couldn't remember the Vizsla that made it. Like
I don't know if they Tar Vizsla. I think they said it's Tar Vizsla.
How do we not know anything about him? Like what did he know to be able to do that?
I don't know, but you know what? That is okay. This is not ever going to happen, but that is a spin-off movie I would love. The Mandalorian Jedi. That is.
I would just like the Mandalorian War if that was the trilogy.
Oh, I would love that, but I'm just saying this in particular, that this one, who we have no idea when they live, so it could totally be before, after anything the Mandalorian War. We have no idea, because it's never really specified. This story could take place anywhere. Just the idea of a Mandalorian Jedi is very interesting because Mandalorians are known mainly for killing Jedi. So that's very interesting.
What if he's just like the most passive dude ever?
That'd be funny. I feel like you gotta have something inside of you. If you're able to, if like whenever you call out to a crystal and make it turn your color, it turns black. I'm just saying that's gotta say something about you.
I'm just thinking like he's like, yeah, I could kill you. I'm fully capable of it. I just don't want to. He's just being like passive aggressive about it.
But
he's like, yeah, I'm definitely stronger than you, but you'll never know. So,
yeah, that's all pretty interesting. I didn't have anything else discussion-wise lined up because there was a lot of news we just broke down. So if you're curious about any of that, go look at the show notes and check out the articles because there's a lot to go through with all of this solo stuff. And also, I want to go watch that Venom trailer because I'm really excited about that Venom trailer. But anyways, if you haven't, you should check out Holocron Herald, our I guess it's our sister show or whatever. Where we break
our
down
standalone film.
where we break down episodes of the Clone Wars. This coming week, we're recording this right after we record this, but it comes out a day later. We are doing the episodes. Shoot, what are they? Is it Jedi?
Lemurs and stuff.
Yeah, there's lemurs in them. I don't remember the names though. Is it Jedi Crash? Is that what they?
Jedi Crash.
Jedi Crash and Defenders of Peace.
Oh, I thought it was Keepers of Peace. Crap.
I just checked. I have it written down.
Terrible.
Which is the arc of. Basically, it's Aayla Secura's arc in the Clone Wars. I think
she gets gunned down, right? In episode 3.
Yeah, by Bly, who we get to see in this episode.
Oh my god! I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. That is like Commander, like the yellow
Oh.
clones, especially like including Commander Bly, are the ones that shoot her down in Revenge of the Sith. But yes, so definitely go check that out the day that that goes up. Uh,
I want to go check that out.
Recently, we also had the episode of Steel City Bots, episode 31, I believe, which there's plenty of news, including mainly third-party news, but we also talk about the fact that Thermidor's in Star Wars, which I just mentioned, which is awesome. Um, there's also the most recent episode of Awesome Asylum, which we talk about Marvel Legends and stuff. The reason I'm not giving all the titles and descriptions is because I don't have it pulled up because I'm bad. It's just off the top of my head. We talk about Marvel Legends and then also the end of the Hasbroverse, which coming up we're probably going to talk about some new Infinity War toy reveals and also if that Venom trailer is real. That Venom trailer for sure. Trying to think what else. Misaligned. There was Exodus was the new episode this past week. The new episode this week, I believe. Don't quote me on this because again, not my show. But I believe the new episode that will be coming out in a few days is about the video games, the War for Cybertron, Rise of the Dark Spark, and Fall of Cybertron. Which, if you
The
aren't
Dark
aware,
I don't even know what that is.
that's okay. That game has kind of disappeared from everyone's memory on purpose because it's really not that great. I don't hate it as much as everyone else does, but War for Cybertron was really good. Fall of Cybertron is like one of the best games ever, and then Rise of the Dark Spark was like a follow-up, which was supposed to be really just set in between the two, and in the movie verse, and it was a mess. But, anyways, so yeah, there's all of that. There's also a chance I'm leaving something out, but hey. Oh, and a new episode of TF Primecast, which is our finally episode 3 came out, which Aaron and I broke down the episodes 6 and 7, which is Skyquake's episode and the Scraplet episode, and we'll be doing another episode of that this coming week. So definitely check that out as well. So to see all that stuff, you can subscribe to us at Nerdy Geek Talk on YouTube or any of your favorite podcasting places: iTunes, Apple Podcast, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, all that good stuff. And also follow us at Nerdy Geek Talk on Twitter. Personally, you can find me at Eric Crowbar on Twitter, and at Aramis Prime on Instagram if Instagram is your thing. ERIMUS Prime. Luke, what about you? Where can people find you?
You can find me on the street rambling about stuff, but quicker way is at Twitter at Darth_Sand66. But wherever you live, whichever you prefer, it's cool.
And then if you want to find John, who's not here, unfortunately, but should be back soon.
I will find him.
Did you see he actually did text us? But anyways, you can follow him at Darth_Forge. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. So thank you for listening, and make sure to tune in next time. See ya.
Bye.